Good afternoon, everybody. Respected Mr. Mohammed, Hanish, IAS, Chairman and Managing Director of Supply Co, staff and faculty, and dear students. I have great pleasure in introducing Mr. Mohammed Hanish, IAS, to all of you. Mr. Hanish is not a stranger to us. He has been here at the campus about 6 years back for a guest session. Mr. Hanish is a civil engineering graduate who got selected to the IAS in 1996. During his distinguished service of 20 years plus in the administrative services, he has held important assignments. After his initial postings, he was posted as a district collector and district magistrate of Ernakulam district in the year 2004, a post which he continued till 2008. In this assignment, he had made his mark as a very able administrator with an unblemished record. The other assignments that he has held in the government are Director of Public Instruction, Director of Smart Cities Mission, Managing Director, Kerala State Roads and Bridges Development Corporation, Secretary, Local Self-Government, Urban Areas, Urban Affairs with additional charge of the PWD, Secretary, General Education, Sports and Youth Affairs. Presently, he is the Chairman and Managing Director of Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation, known briefly and popularly as Supply Co. Mr. Hanish has also been appointed as a nodal officer for the matches likely to be held in Cochin in 2017 for FIFA World Football Cup Under-17. The appointment is as per FIFA's directions. He has also been made in charge of developing the infrastructure and development of the sports to the run-up to the event in 2017. Mr. Hanish has also undergone training program at Toronto and also at the Asian Institute of Technology in Bangkok. He is a very well-known and reputed public speaker as well as a motivational orator who has been giving lectures and talks in various forums such as colleges, management associations, and other public forums. It's a great privilege for us today to have him amongst us and to interact with you all. On behalf of Chief Facilitator, Mr. Ravi DC, DCS Math Institutions, and all of us present here, may I welcome Mr. Hanish. It is indeed fortunate that an very able IAS officer is now heading the Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation. As you all know, Supply Co is the execution arm of the Department of Food and Civil Supplies of the Government of Kerala. Since its inception in 1974, Supply Co has been doing a mammoth service of providing the people of Kerala subsidized commodities through market intervention in the retail markets. So the topic of today's lecture is totally relevant to us as to understand how Supply Co is going about achieving this mission. On the face of it, it's a contradiction. Supply Co is a business unit and Supply Co is also a social entity trying to do a great service to the people of Kerala through price control in the retail market. Hence, the topic of today's session is Business and Social Cost, a case study on Supply Co. Without taking much further time, may I now request Mr. Mohammed Hanish to address the students. Thank you.
Director Mr. Ashok Kumar, faculty members, and my dear friends. It's a privilege for me to come back to this idyllic surroundings after a lapse of something like 6 years. Time has really rolled by, and the kind of changes I have seen here amazes me. 6 years back when I came here along with the chief promoter, Mr. Ravi DC, together one night, it was absolutely cold, and this institution had fewer buildings as well. The next day morning, I took a small talk on stress management. At the time, I was the most stressed government official in the state. Naturally enough, that I took a session on stress management. I was the school education director, or in other words, the director of public instruction, with something like 2.25 lakh school teachers and allied staff members, 60 lakh students from first standard to 12th standard. You can as well imagine my pride in terms of the distribution of the textbooks in time, conduct of examinations, the teacher training programs, and every other controversy that surrounds the school education system. 6 years later, when I come back, I find that this institution has really grown by leaps and bounds. It has not just increased its infrastructure, but also I understand that in terms of the intake of college students, this has really done well. And too many new courses have been introduced as well. But the charm of this place very well remains. And so glad to know that. So it is in this context that I decided perhaps that I should make a foray to this institution again after a lapse of 6 years, as I said. And the last few weeks have been hectic in the sense, apart from the supply cost regular activity and the regular controversies that surround the purchase of chilies and rice and coriander and whatever. Apart from that, I also had this rather heavy responsibility of coordinating matters related to the Indian Super League. And Indian Super League, as all of us know, it has become the toast of the nation. And yesterday, every year was on Cochin and Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. And till 10:30 or 11 in the night, I was in the stadium, and sadness, to share the sadness with you, in the last penalty kick we lost out. So after that, I also felt a bit tired about it and decided that perhaps I too should take a break. So I decided to take a brief survey for one day. Had been traveling eastward, and I reached this much. Not any more east, I hope. And to be with you for one day, and finally get back to my daily humdrum of activity tomorrow. I am the chairman and managing director of the Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation, popularly known as Supplyco. And what is Supplyco doing? It's stationed first of all in Cochin, and that's why the well-known, So you don't have a pointer. Is there a pointer? Okay. So when I decided that perhaps I should, talk to you about the Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation that's based in Cochin, also known as Supplyco, what struck my mind, for an institution that's almost, not fully, but then to a large extent populated by business management students only, very delectable or rather absolutely delicate task of balancing the social concerns and doing good business. Can good business be done by taking care of the social concerns as well? Or can social concerns be embedded within a business institution that does good business? This is a question which I would like to pose before you. Can good business and social concerns go together? Can it? Any examples of it across the country? Social concerns on the one hand, good business on the other hand. How do you go about it? Any illustration from across? Can it go hand in hand? Can it? Yes or no? Yes. If so, leave alone this supply co. Can you show me an illustration, an example, anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world of an institution that does good business? It also takes care of social concerns and the social factors. Lots of examples. Quite a few at least. One of you, give me an example. Which one? Give me one name. What's it? Yeah, please.
I don't know. It's Kudumbashree.
It's not a business institution as such, it's a social service organization, an institution, but at the same time it's been doing some business. But then what I'm saying is a full-scale business institution, which also takes care of the social concerns. Amul, brilliant example, give him a big hand. Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation has got something close to how many farmers you know? 20 lakh farmers, built up by the illustrious leadership of Dr. Hanish, one of our worthy sons from Kerala. But of course, as everybody says, all this good work of Kerala is get done whenever they are outside the state. I don't know the reason behind it. Anyway, Varghese Kurian is credited with having really created modern day Gujarat. Even the Prime Minister Narendra Modi doesn't claim to be the maker of modern day Gujarat. Varghese Kurian is credited with it to a great extent. Our Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation ensured fair prices to the, the dairy agriculturists, the farmers, dairy farmers. It also does excellent business. Amul brands have become the toss of the nation. Amul brand has been so popularized that it can easily give an easy run for the money with any multinational brand, isn't it? Any other example? Think about vehicles. Let me pose a question to you. Why did Maruti Udyog come in the first place? Why did Maruti Udyog come in the first place? To provide the common man with a decent car. So isn't that a social concern? And from there, of course, it has crossed many milestones, and today it caters to every segment. But Maruti Suzuki began in 1977 or 1978, basically, catering to the segment of the lower middle class and the middle class consumer, who was in search of a vehicle which he could afford. Thus came the great Indian model called Maruti 800cc. Today we cannot see Maruti 800cc nowadays. Have it stopped production or not? Yes. Stopped production. The last of the Maruti 800cc's have been sold out. Any other example is about great personalities. Amul, Maruti, any other business model. Think about it. Anything which crosses your mind? Which one? Can we think about some of these Navaratna and Maharatna companies of Government of India? For instance, the oil companies. Pardon? Oil companies are the BPC, IOC, HPC to an extent. But then the pricing of this oil, petrol and diesel doesn't really reflect the social concern all the time. They always reflect the global prices. Steel Authority of India saying it can. Oil and Natural Gas Commission, ONGC, and the kind of associate concerns, and so on and so forth. Now coming back to the story, now I am focusing on business and social cause. How the Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation or Supply Co does this very delicate balancing act between ensuring, food for the common man and also doing good business. It's a very, very difficult task. as you would see in the slides to come in. The supply co was started in the year 1974, and the main objective is just read out: engage, promote, improve, develop, counsel and finance, production, purchase, storage, processing, movement, transport, distribution and sale of food grains, foodstuffs and any other commodities which the government may consider as essential. This is it. Basically the food grains distribution. Then the question arose, why is it that the ration shops, why can't they do this work? Why should the supply co come in the middle? The answer is very simple, my dear. The simple answer is that the ration shops go by the statutory rationing act. You know the basic essential commodities as per the ration card is supplied. Supply co goes much beyond it to the FMCGs, to the branded products, and then make them available at reasonable prices. That's quite a tough task. And also to ensure that a greater focus is given to the distribution of subsidized food commodities. This is our network. Like we are divided into 5 regions: Kozhikode, Palakkad, Ernakulam, Kottayam and Trivandrum. 56 taluks. At one point of time, Kerala had only 56 taluks, and we have got 56 depots. Now the number of taluks has increased to 81. But then these 81 taluks are catered to by the 56 taluk depots. And I got 1,532 outlets across the state, which comprises of Mavili stores, everybody knows the building, supermarkets, hypermarkets, people's bazaars, Apna bazaar, then you have premium outlets, medical shops, petrol pumps, LPG outlets, and so on and so forth. This is the list. Like you have everything there. Everything is there, from petrol to diesel to kerosene oil to LPG cylinders to the rice and flour and atta and wheat and maida. You name it, we have it. And look at the annual turnover. In 2010-11 it was 2,228 crores, and in 2015-16 we had touched 3,857 crores, and this year my target is 4,400 crores. The turnover increases, but as you, the business management students, know very well, turnover can always increase because the prices will increase. Turnover can always increase. It's not really a reflection of the health of the business institution. The health of the business institution ultimately lies in the bottom line. What is the bottom line? Profit. But here comes the difference. Here is the game. This is my major activity. Distribution of essential items at subsidized rates. So 13 items were selected by the government. I provide them at subsidy rates fixed by the government. You know what do you mean by subsidized rates? For instance, sugar, per kilogram sugar costs something close to 50 rupees. Am I correct? 50 rupees. And do you know the price at which I sell sugar? Take a guess. 25. 30, pardon me? 30 rupees, right, okay. Does it make any business sense? It doesn't. But does it make any social sense? Yes. It does. 4 types of rice: sugar, coconut oil, bengal gram, or you know that peas dal, such methi or rather whatever you call us. What is it? Methi. What is methi? Udwa. So, and such other commodities altogether, 32 are there. Suppose if you want to buy more, you have, in addition to sales and subsidy rates, a free sale subsidy rate. What do you mean by free sale subsidy rate? What I've done is, at the rate at which I purchased, plus my transportation cost, without exacting any profit, I would sell it. So it will be somewhere between 30 rupees and 50 rupees. You can buy as much of commodity as possible. Now, other major activities: FMCG items, retailing, medicines, petroleum products. I have got a brand which is popular because it's been in existence for the past 30-35 years. But the saddest part is that like any other government institution, I have not been able to really bring about a major impact with this brand. You know the brand, I believe? Shabari. Everybody knows the brand. Everybody knows the brand, but nobody knows the product. This is the very quixotic situation in which I am placed. Shabari tea has been in existence since 1984, and my market share is just that which has been made by Eastern Tea, which was launched 3 or 4 years back. So it shows the kind of sluggishness in terms of, marketing my own brand. But still, tea, coffee, curry powder, coconut oil, salt, cardamom, pepper, notebook, appapudi, puttupudi, masala powder under the brand name Shabari. Then you go for the government schemes, major schemes, social paddy procurement scheme. Procurement of paddy from the farmers, milling it, getting it as custom milled rice in rice mills, and then going to the public distribution system. Midday meal scheme, the world's largest nutritional meal scheme for the school students from standards 1 to 8 standard. Distribution of fortified atta and levy sugar. We distribute rice and wheat also as wholesale depots. And right now we are having the festival fair going on, the Christmas fair is going on. So we have the festival fairs during Onam, Ramzan, Vishu, Easter and Christmas. And 105 medical outlets as well, and school fairs. The market intervention. How do I do my market intervention? Through the subsidized sale of essential commodities. Prices are fixed by government. As I said, 13 items are sold, including rice, pulses, spices, sugar and coconut oil. For ensuring the benefit of the subsidy pass on to the, for ensuring the benefit of the subsidy pass on to the genuine customer, the distribution is regulated through the ration cards. And for limiting the burden of the subsidy, maximum quantity that can be issued to one customer is fixed. The present subsidy selling prices, that's very important, are on an average 40% lower than the open market prices. This is quite substantial. The most popular rice in the state is the JR rice. You heard of it already. The Kurwa rice, the JR rice, the Bodra Sotex rice, the raw rice. These are the kind of rice that we have across the state. And this is what I have to face, the greatest challenge. A portion of the loss, only a portion of the loss on these sales are reimbursed by the government through allocation budget. For instance, I get into the market. I sell essential commodities on a subsidized rate. I have incurred a loss of 300 crores perhaps. 300 crore rupees is what I have lost this year between April 1st and November 30. But the government of Kerala decides to give me or reimburse only to the tune of 150 crore rupees. 150 crore rupees has to come from some other place, isn't it? Smart LXMU, people with extra brilliant thinking caps, kindly tell me please. My loss on subsidized sale of essential commodities is 300 crores. Government reimburses me to the tune of 150 crore rupees. Where should the 150 remaining 150 crores come from? Where can I access this 150 crores? Any answer for that? This is where you have a balancing act. I have spent 300 crores. Loss is 300 crores. I have got only 150 crores back from government. My loss is 150 crores. The remaining loss. How do you make do? How do you make good this remaining loss of 150 crores? How can I do that? Please. Any suggestions on it? Can you just feed me with some suggestions? Absolutely fertile minds over here can give me 1,000 ideas on how to make good by remaining 150 crore. Put on your thinking caps. How do I make good? Any answer? Anybody please? Here? How can I make good by 150 crore rupee loss? No answers, no clue about it. So here comes the clue and also the answer. Look at the selling prices as well. This makes it all the more confounded. Absolutely pathetic situation. JR rice, I sell it at 25 rupees. Open market price is 35.67. 10.67 rupees is the difference and I sell it. Kurwa rice, matta rice, raw rice, sugar, green gram, Bengal gram bold, black gram wash, lobia or one buyer as you know, tur dal, chilies, coriander and coconut oil. Tell me please, how do I make good the loss? The presence of supply in the market not only stabilizes the prices, of course, it tries to do that, but also controls it and local vendors are forced to reduce the prices for existing, reduce the prices for the existence in the market. No, but here comes the question. I have been trying to, from April 2016 to December 2016, this is the graph which shows the kind of fluctuations in the prices of these essential commodities. You can find that there isn't much of a upward spiral, isn't it? There isn't much. But my intervention is limited. I have only 1,500 outlets and I have only limited quantity for every person. The remaining quantity, for the remaining quantity people have to access the market. But at least there is a salutary effect on the market and the private players would be reduced, would be constrained to reduce it at least to a degree because of the kind of prices that's made by me by way of the subsidized rates. So the loss that is suffered, MIO is market intervention operation. This is the loss from 2008-2009 and look at the second column, the amount sanctioned by the government. Never in the past years have the total loss been reimbursed by the government. 136, 105. 206 is only 83. 118, 76. 164, 180. 288, 135. 320, 160. 257, 70. 249, 99. 275 already till October 31st. And I have been reimbursed to the tune of 150 crores. So it means that this year itself has suffered loss which has not been reimbursed to the tune of 125.49 crores. Am I correct? Now, how do I make do? Offsetting the loss. This is the story. Efficient sale of FMCG goods and the Shabari branded products and the margin that's made out of it. That's the profit I make. Utilizing that profit, I cross-subsidize. Hope you got the point. The remaining loss, which is not reimbursed by the government, is offset solely because I have been efficient enough in selling FMCG goods properly. Getting good prices for the FMCG main regions from Glaxo to Hindustan Unilever to SmithKline Beecher to Procter & Gamble to Reckitt & Colvin and whatever. So in that sense, when I get good pricing from these majors in the FMCG sector, I am able to sell it at a margin. But even then, I cannot forego on my commitment to the public. So again, there is a dip of 5 to 10% dip discount on the MRP that's provided to the customer. In spite of that, I have a margin. Using that margin, I offset the loss on the essential commodities. Hope you got the point? That 150 crore loss, 300 minus 150. 150 crore loss is ultimately offset by this. The corporation manages to reduce the loss by other sale of FMCG items. All FMCG items are sold through the outlets at a discount of 5 to 30% on MRP. It constitutes an average turnover of 900 crore rupees per year. And remember, this year, 2016-17, in spite of the effect of demonetization and whatever, we intend to cross to 1,400 crore rupees in terms of the turnover from the FMCG sector. When my turnover on the FMCG sector increases, my profitability increases. When my profitability increases, two things happen. What are they? One, I offset the loss. Two, beyond the loss, I also make some profit. That's the double whammy which I have to face. Number one, I need to take care of the essential commodities. Number two, beyond that, I need to register some decent profit. For a private sector operator, there is no question of selling anything on subsidized rates. They sell it on open market rates. They make profit after profit, profit upon profit. FMCG sector again gives them profit. Ultimately, the bottom line is huge profit. The company is always in the black. It will never be in the red. Are we correct? So this is what you call as sound business sense. But when you think about too many factors of life together, and also the commitment and the concern of the government as such, whatever be the nature of the, or the complexion of the government, certainly we come to one point. What is it? For an institution like Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation, which intends to serve the common man, and at the same time without bleeding itself, this is the kind of balancing act we have to do. Isn't it a very interesting balancing act? Utilizing the profit from here to cross-subsidize the loss on the other side. And so that there is a kind of a head is held above water. That's what I'm, as a CMD, what is my task? As the chairman and MD, what is my agenda for the day? My agenda is very simple, keep myself or keep my head above water. We have introduced different products in the brand name Shabari, 23 products altogether, tea, coconut oil and brought out everything together, and I detailed it earlier. Its share of the total turnover is rupees 160 crores per annum. Now these are all my products, which have languished, which have been lethargic for years together because of absolute non-attention or lack of attention provided to the building up of the brand equity. So what we are planning to do is launch a major ad campaign on the print media as well as electronic media with celebrities, celebrities vouchsafing for the fact that Shabari product is the best. This is what we plan to do. So celebrities would be sponsoring, or rather they would be propagating, they would be put in as the ambassadors for the Shabari brand. These are the branded products, 23 of them altogether. Then I have some diversified activities as well. Sale of medicine. Medicines including life-saving medicines are sold to a network of 105 stores across the state, and medicines are again sold at a discount of 12 to 40%. Annual turnover is 75 crore rupees. I am facing challenges in the medical sector, as you would know. Which are those institutions that have been very clearly giving medicines at discounted rates? Severa, Nidhi, there is a Jan Aushadhi, then Trivedi. Our own cousins, the consumer preferred guys are also operating in the same sector. So that makes it all the more troublesome. Then sale of petroleum products and LPG. I have got 14 petrol pumps and 3 LPG units. It's all connected to the oil companies. The loss on market intervention operation, managing the loss on MIO, market intervention operation, is cross-subsidized through sale of FMCG. That's the big story. Whatever we have been trying to project. The FMCG, Shabari, medical and petroleum products together. Look at the scene altogether. From 2008-9, I had profit in certain years, but there is a violent fluctuation. 23.53, 17.10. Then I dipped down and finally I make a profit in 2014-15. 2015-16 again I got in the red. Why is it so? It's because of the fluctuating volumes and also the fluctuating margins of FMCG, Shabari and medical products. But in spite of that, what the government tells me is that even if you make a loss, please don't forsake the common man. That's the philosophy. But as MBA students, would you agree to a company being in the red all the time? Sorry, that's right. Would you agree to a company that's in the loss all the time? No. It needs to be made profitable. If it needs to be made profitable, we need to increase on the sale volumes of FMCG, make Shabari a better branded entity, and also see to it that the medical products as well as the LPG and the petroleum products are sold quite well. I need to enhance the volumes. It's ultimately a question of how the Lulu Mall business happens. You know the business philosophy of Lulu Mall, I believe? Heard of it? Studied a bit also, I believe. Can you just tell me as to how Lulu Mall and the entire Lulu enterprise across the world operate? Can you tell me? The prices are always low. They are always competitive in comparison with the rest of the market. But the profit line is absolutely high. How do they do it? Sale volume. The sales volume has to increase. So for 4,400 crore rupees, if my sales volume or the turnover touches something, say like 5,500 or 6,000 crore rupees, I'm definitely certain that I'm going to be in the black. I'm going to be profitable. This company, in spite of doing so much of life-saving exercises, so much of bleeding by itself, ultimately ends up making profit and becoming a worthy partner in the state's progress. This is precisely what I'm trying to make. So, that's it. Now, we also act as a nodal agency for the implementation of the government schemes. Our social concerns multiply, grow. Paddy procurement and marketing scheme, that's between Kerala government and India government. We procure paddy and distribute 5.6 lakh metric ton per year. Annual transaction is 1,550 crores for the farmers of the state. And the paddy distribution is 3.8 lakh metric tons because 68% is the outturn from paddy to rice. So you can calculate it, 5.6 into 68%. It comes to this. It ensures the price of paddy is directly credited to the farmer's bank account. We distribute rice under the midday meal scheme. 25 lakh students are benefited, and we also distribute sugar to the ARPs. ARP is the retail shops, ration shops, for the distribution to the BPL card holders. How do we purchase all these commodities? Because it's always a daily newspaper item on how purchase is done. We go by the e-tender and the NCDEX, the National Commodities Exchange, platform as well. E-intending, e-tender, e-selection, e-order generation, e-GRS, e-payment. This is precisely what we are trying to do. At times we have been at fault, but we have been trying to. How does e-tender happen? Because there have been ever so many questions about the kind of charges of corruption, nepotism, favoritism, and a great deal of unfair practices which can be employed whenever we go for tender. But this is how we do. Unique user-friendly software, no need for physical submission of the tender. Suppliers from any part can take part. Insistence on the digital signature to avoid binary deals, prevents cartelization of suppliers, online negotiation, system-based generation of purchase order, and no human intervention in any of the procedure. Finally, to ensure customer confidence, this is what we have in mind, a strategy of AQPBL. A stands for availability of essential commodities, Q stands for quality, P stands for prices lowest to the market, B stands for behavior or politeness. This is a great challenge for me because you know the kind of workforce I have in my supermarkets and hypermarkets. Absolutely ill-trained. So therefore I find it extremely difficult to make them polite. We are trying our level best to make them polite. And location, accessible to everyone. What are the benefits that come to the customers ultimately as a result of the big metrics that we have made within that particular framework? Price advantage on distributing essential items at subsidized rates. We sell FMCG items at a discount of 5 to 30%. Shabri products again at least 20% below the market rates. Medicine sold at a discount of 12 to 40%. Good petroleum products. Outlets to reach every section, of the customer. Mobile money stores in hilly areas, tribal areas and coastal areas. And arranging distribution of the essentials through the government schemes like the paddy procurement scheme, the midday meal scheme and so on and so forth. 1.25 crore customers are our base, the biggest in the state. The state's population today in 2016 is an estimated 3.5 crores. Out of that, this conservative estimate is 1.25 crores. I would certainly put it as 1.5 or 1.75 crores. That's the kind of reach that Supply Corp or Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation has been able to do. Thank you very much. So this is the kind of the whole metrics at which we are placed. The sum total of the story is very simple. When you do business and when you try to manage social concerns together with doing good business, how do we do the balancing act? How do we see to it that finally there is a balance made between the social concerns and, excuse me please, how do we do a balance between good business and good social concerns? This is precisely what the supply co has in mind, and that's why I wanted to portray the story. When I put this benefits to the customers at the last slide, I just wanted to highlight what are the things that can be done by any institution which caters to the need of the common man and at the same time tries to do sound business based on sound business principles. To have a marriage between the two, social purpose and commercial purpose, that's a big balancing act, an absolutely thin line upon which we create the edifice of supply co. But all these years we've been trying to do that. Some years we have been profitable, some years we have been making losses. But we intend to increase the sale volumes so as to make it as profitable as possible. That's where we stand at. So this is the whole story of the Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation or the Supply Co. And now since I come to the end of my story and you listen to that, just give me your comments, queries, suggestions, opinions, whatever, so that we could really discuss it now. The floor is open for discussion. Thank you very much. Questions, please.
Green, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you said that the supply was having 14 petroleum bunks. So, sir, the present situation of petroleum prices that it's around 74 rupees. So, you are giving things, daily commodities to people at the discounted or subsidized rate. So, why don't you think about?
That's a very tricky question. I can certainly do that with FMCGs and medicines as well. When it comes to the petroleum prices, you know for sure that whichever be the outlet, whatever be the outlet, it has to be sold at the administered pricing, the pricing mechanism that's fixed by IOC, BPC and HPC. I cannot do anything about it. It's a general rate that's prevalent across the state.
Thank you.
So you showed that you provide lots of benefits to customers.
Right.
One thing which I felt is that supply co with lacks is the lack of marketing and advertisement.
Correct.
Why didn't you concentrate more on promotional activities of supply co? And also one more question. By social cost, you mean only reduction of prices or customer satisfaction?
Social cost is first of all saved when some money is kept as balance in its pocket. Ultimately, the question is that of savings, that of ensuring financial stability to the customer. That's number one. Customers, kind of customer-friendly approach comes next. But then there is nothing greater as a social purpose than saving money for the customer. We do that. Second is marketing and promotional activity. As a government-run entity, this company has suffered for years together without any deal of publicity. That's why I'm telling you, my Shabari brand of tea, which is accessed from almost the same tea gardens as any other private entity. You don't know the Shabari brand, but you know AV tea very well. You know East tea very well. Green label is known, all the Brooklyn green label is known. Kannadevan tea is known, is omnipresent. Mohammed means Kannadevan, isn't it? Right. So I need to go for that. But my greatest constraint is the thin line that divides profit and loss. I don't have too much of money to be expended on promotional activities. But in spite of that, in the year 2017, we intend to create at least a small splash in the market by going firm on the marketing campaign. Right. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, in my knowledge or what I've seen till my view, such an organization, it's an impatient organization. We have a lot of employees there. It's very tough to manage. So what is your say on that? And in addition to what my friend has asked there about customer satisfaction, even my mom purchases all those things from supply Maveli stores at Kalur.
Right.
So she has
And the behavior of the staff members is really bad.
and in addition to that, we find, my mom says she finds a lot of not a proper quality products there.
Sure.
So bit of hygiene problem and also, what is your say on that, sir?
There are two things here. Number one, the first question is about the kind of customer-friendly approach that's to be made by the umpteen staff members of Supply Co. We are going in for staff training session after session for them so that there is a transformation. But you should also understand that these are Pakka government employees coming in and they really try to convert these marketing places into file workshops or office places. This is the transformation from being a bureaucrat to being a salesman is the greatest worrisome problem for me. For others as well, that's one. Second is the quality issues. We try to ensure the quality of the product, but then packaging is bad for us. We have not been able to do attractive packaging. Second is, when it comes to quality edge, we have not been able to convince the people about the quality of the product. But may I also tell you, recently one of the major brands, one of the major, supermarket chains across the country, a rice purchase was made by somebody quite known to me. And inside that there were worms. But then the packaging was brilliant. He bought it, brought it home, found that there were worms inside. This can happen to major chains also. But then it's not endemic to Supply Co, but we need to better upon it. Quality assurance has to be better. Thank you. And may I hasten to add that nowadays the price rise in terms of the rise of prices for the various different kinds of rice is very much there. There is a huge rise in the price of the cooking rice. Now what we plan to do now is, in spite of conducting tender after tender after tender, maybe because of the kind of grouping of the suppliers together, we have not been able to get rice at reasonable prices so that we could sell it at subsidized rates. So what we are planning to do is, we are accessing rice from Government of India and opening up arikada in every Mavili store so that the price line of rice is brought down. That's a major initiative which is going to happen in the next 3 or 4 days to come. It has to happen. So these are all interventions which one does at the nick of the moment only because there is such a huge social discontent about it. Yes. Any other question? Yeah.
Sir, what is the qualification that you want to get in Supply Co? Is there any chance for adjustment?
Placement. I really would like to take quite a few from you because I have been seeing only old faces in Supply Co for quite some time. That's why I keep on telling everybody that whoever has been in Supply Co would be reminiscent of the ages of Premaseen and Satyan and Sheila. After Premaseen and Satyan and Sheila, nobody has entered Supply Co. Managers have been continuing for 20 years and 15 years together. I've taken in some junior managers right now, but I intend to increase it. We have plans for it. I will certainly keep you in mind. Yes. Right, yeah.
Sir, have you faced any problems in business due to the current demonetization policy? And if so, what are the steps you have taken for coping up with the change?
Demonetization has affected every sector of business, that's for sure. Because where there are two issues, related to demonetization. The first one is the simple question of giving change to the 2,000 rupee note that's presented by this gentleman. You don't have the change for it. Second is the lack of money in the hands of the people. Therefore, the transaction volumes of business, the volume that's transacted in the store happens to be relatively low when compared to the past. These are two things which have happened. This happened very well in the month of November. But what one understands nowadays when I look at the figures from December 1 to December 18 is that people are getting themselves adjusted to it. But the second point is, people have been insisting on the plastic money, the e-wallet and the Paytm to come in. My problem with e-wallet and Paytm and the plastic, the swiping machine is that all these items entail payment of a commission charge to the respective company. When I myself have reduced the prices to such an abysmally low level, where do I plow the money for paying to the banks and Paytm company and whatever? So swiping machines are a demand, it's a demand that's being raised by the customers all the time, but I'm not able to serve it. But what I'm trying to do is at least in those shops where I have a volume of something like a trading volume of something like 50 lakhs plus per month, I intend to introduce swiping machine. But what I understand now is, after November when I come to December, this might be the sentiment across the state also. Things are picking up. People are getting adjusted to it. This is the ingenuity of the human mind after all. Modi ji did whatever he could. And ultimately the public have to, flexibly, try to adjust or maneuver himself so as to sustain himself in the market. That's being done by the public. This is what I understand. With or without the 500 rupee note. 500 rupee note is something like a chimera. You can never see it. You can only visualize it. Perhaps it may come to us another 3 months from now, 2 months from now. That's it. Yes. Any questions for the faculty here? Yes.
Sir, do you plan to go for the online version also given the boom of e-commerce sector?
Online version, online trading you mean? Online trading is something which hasn't crossed our mind even today. That's because of our traditional systems that have been in existence for all this time. But who knows, subsidized items can never go online, as you would know. But when it comes to the FMCG and when it comes to the our brand products, I can certainly go for that. But then before that, I need to strengthen my brand and also increase my volumes. That's all. Yes, yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So my doubt was that you said that the brand you have, Shabali brand, the sales are going rapidly down. Is it because that brand does not have a face, and you're saying that you needed some superstars or someone to endorse the product? Is that only the reason, or because something else of the quality or something else?
Both reasons. One is, of course, there has been a great deal of total inaction in terms of the creation of the brand equity of Shabali, utilizing the endorsement of some superstar. Second is, in certain, at least the meat masala, fish masala and the chicken masala products at least, I find that there are quality issues. In chili powder there is quality issue because I crisscrossed the entire state, conducted 5 regional conferences across the state in 5 regions, and my staff members tell me that there are quality issues. I need to address that. That's why it's a long journey which I have to undertake before Shabali brand becomes the #1 brand of the state. We need to do that. So advertisement is one part, quality is another part. Okay? Thank you. Yes. Sure.
So, sir, why don't you go for issuing the supplemental cards like cards issuing Reliance like that? So instead we can increase the sales loan.
Please wait for another 15 days. We are going for a very ingenious kind of method, not your typical card. There is something that's coming in. I'm just keeping it close to my chest. January 1st will take off. Right.
Over the years, this Applico has an high visibility and an impeccable image and brand loyalty. Still, you are not coming out with the white label products.
What?
White label.
White label?
Yeah.
Meaning?
Your own branded product.
That's what I'm saying. My own branded product, Shabari, has been there for how many years? Donkey's years, I should say. But it never made an impact in the market. It's because of my own inaction and sluggishness. Slothful inefficiency, I would say. We need to get out of it. We need to make it a better brand. And ultimately see to it that the volumes develop and we are able to create a brand loyalty. We should do that.
Other than this study, your number of product launches of your own brand image, which is building momentum and sales growth on your own strength.
That's right. First of all, I need to strengthen myself on the 23 items that have been captured under the. But after having strengthened that, I need to go for new products under my brand. That's what I can do. Instead of diversifying further, I need to, stabilize or consolidate on whatever little work that has been done in the past. So that consolidation occurs and thereafter we go for expansion.
Thank you, sir. Right.
Any further questions? Yes.
So, coming from a background of IAS to the business field,
Right.
how was it?
Absolutely interesting. I've been looking into files all the time. But I've always been interested in this thing. But earlier I had a stint as managing director of Kerala State Cooperative Marketing Federation. At that time I was looking after pepper procurement, spices procurement, coconut procurement. So I'm not new to the field of business, but I love doing business and I've been really loving this new passion of mine. So I hope to become a good businessman without an MBA. We are through. Thank you so much, wonderful questions. I hope I've been able to be successful.
Very respected Chief Guest of the Day, Mr. Mohammed, Hanish, IAS, respected Group Director Brigadier Ashok Kumar Sir, teachers and my dear friends. Wise words are like seeds. The more you scatter them, the more they will grow into infinite gardens of knowledge. As far as DCS matters concerned, they are keen in providing us knowledge and they try to arrange interactions with experts in the field. Today, we in fact had an informative session. I take this great opportunity to thank Mr. Mohammed Hanish IAS for sparing valuable time from his busy schedule to enlighten us. Your words were indeed inspiring and motivating. Thank you, sir. Now I request Brigadier Ashok Kumar sir to present the memento to our chief guest. opportunity, possible and successful.